There are countless strong warriors in Douqi Continent. The strong can turn the sky and the sea, while the weak are dominated by the strong. True genius does not require the filtering of time. Before and after the end of time, will the ultimate heavenly pride Xiao Qianyu reach the peak of strength, or will he faint and fall on the way? Let's wait and see. Chapter 1. Brilliant Genius. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A young boy looked at a glowing ball with a gloomy expression, saying, "The spirit of struggle, 3 levels, low level." Ha ha ha, it's been 3 years now. This useless person is still in the 3rd stage of Douqi Qi. It's indeed a useless person. Waste is just waste. There were constant mocking voices coming from around. The young man silently walked down the high platform, and a beautiful girl beside him asked anxiously, "Is brother Xiao Yan okay?" "It should be okay." "Right." A young man answered beside him. A pair of narrow and starry eyes, rising like swords, shimmered with a cold and eerie light. The girl let out a soft sigh and didn't say anything more. "The testing is still ongoing. The next umbrella is Xiao, it's up to you. Hurry up." A middle-aged man urged beside him. A tall and thin young man walked up from the stage. He touched the crystal ball on the high platform with his hand. Then, the crystal ball emitted bursts of light. "Douqi Qi, 5 levels, intermediate level," said the tall and thin man as he walked down with a hint. "Next, Xiao Suner. Suner, it's your turn. Hurry up and show it to everyone." A serene and distant girl in purple slowly walked onto the stage. 1-star fighter. The people around took a breath in unison. Sure enough, Miss Suner is truly a genius of our Xiao family. This is my goddess, Suner, so beautiful and strong. Various sounds kept coming from the venue. Upon hearing this, the girl smiled slightly, and Lotus took a slight step down from the testing platform. "Brother Qianyu, how did I perform?" The girl smiled at the young man in white, mesmerizing as the spring sun. "The performance is very good, worthy of being my Suner," the young man gave a positive answer. "Humph, it's not your Suner." The girl chuckled. My face turned slightly red. But there was still an indescribable joy in his eyes. Seeing this, the young man smiled and rubbed the girl's little head. "The testing is still ongoing, another half hour has passed." Next, Xiao Qianyu. Upon hearing this, everyone focused their attention on the beautiful young man in white. Even many young children have a strong admiration in their eyes. "Qianyu brother, it's your turn to go up." "Qianyu brother, you must be much taller than Suner." Little Nizi looked at the beautiful young man in white with anticipation. Upon hearing this, Xiao Qianyu also smiled and said, "Well, Suner, you just keep an eye on it." The boy slowly walked towards the testing platform, his step steady and powerful. Xiao Qianyu walked over to the crystal ball and looked for a while, then placed his hand on the crystal ball. At this moment, the crystal ball emitted a dazzling bright light. The radiance was as bright as day, and afterwards, the crystal ball slowly cracked. The middle-aged man immediately used all his fighting energy to stabilize the crystal ball, but the momentum was unstoppable, and the crystal ball still exploded with a loud bang. The middle-aged man also pulled Xiao Qianyu out before the explosion, then looked at him and confirmed again and again. Finally, after Xiao Qianyu nodded with a smile, he said in a trembling voice, "Xiao Qianyu, Big Dipper Master 5 stars." The people around looked as if they had seen a ghost, and suddenly there was no sound on the field, followed by bursts of discussion. This is simply divine. Oh my goodness, how did the young clan leader cultivate? He's only 15 years old. I have decided that the young clan leader will become my father in the future. My father has the ability to fight against the emperor. Damn it. You shameless thing, young clan leader. You deserve to have a relationship with me even though you are my future husband. Young patriarch, I love you, young patriarch, I want to try the way of balancing yin and yang with you. The girl next to her was like an explosive bucket that was ignited and couldn't be stopped. Surprisingly, there were also a few males among those who wanted to have a monkey with the minority. Xiao Qianyu stepped towards the audience. His face was filled with a proud expression. Suner also approached Xiao Qianyu and said, Brother Qianyu, you're amazing. Xiao Qianyu was also happy to hear Suner's praise and rubbed Suner's little head with his hands. A beautiful red-clad girl next to her also walked up and said, Congratulations to Brother Qianyu for practicing so quickly. Her eyes were filled with love. People around me also have various blessings and so on. A generation of Tianjiao is about to set off a earth-shattering wave in the Douqi Continent. Afterwards, the Xiao family held a ceremony, and several old guys were all smiling. This kid, be brave, said an old man. The people around sighed for a moment and then looked at the old man with envious eyes. Alas, Qianyu is the first genius of our Xiao family. With such a good grandson, you old man should be secretly enjoying it. The speaker was the third elder, thinking with some regret that he also had 2 grandchildren, but none of them were so talented. The middle-aged person sitting in the middle is also very happy, but there is also a little sadness in addition to being happy. This person is the current clan leader of the Xiao family, possessing the strength of a 5-star master. But in his youngest son, his strength was only 3 levels of fighting spirit and he had not made any progress in 3 years. I really don't know what to do, even if it's him, it won't be easy to keep Xiao Yan after the coming-of-age ceremony. So Xiao Zhan was not only happy but also a little sad. I suggest we make this kid the clan leader in a while, as his strength is fully capable of handling this position, said the third elder suddenly. I support it, the second elder smiled like a chrysanthemum. Well. Okay, although he was a bit angry, Xiao Zhan could be considered a person with a general understanding. So after a little thought, I agreed. Since we have all agreed, let's inform you directly later, said the third elder. The next day, at a combat drill. Suner, come directly and use your full strength, Xiao Qianyu said directly. Since Brother Qianyu is so confident, I'll come directly. I saw a green fighting spirit in the woman in purple's hand, which immediately wrapped around Suner's hand. Yen Luo. Suner jumped into the air and slapped her with lightning speed. But Xiao Qianyu also reacted quickly and directly blocked it with his arm horizontally. Xiao Qianyu felt that this fighting skill should be quite impressive. However, in the eyes of outsiders, he himself did not step back at all. Xiao Qianyu lightly slapped Suner's shoulder with a backhand. Suner quickly jumped back, but Xiao Qianyu was not an ordinary person. The hand hit Suner directly at a faster speed. Although he suppressed his strength to the level of Do Ren Yi Xing, at least he can still be considered to have comprehended dozens of combat skills. Suner can't escape. Directly hit with a palm and take a few tens of steps back. However, Xiao Qianyu had an excellent grasp of the power, and the power he unleashed was just right between repelling Suner and injuring Suner. Looking at herself being solved after 3 or 5 attempts, Xiao Nizi pouted in displeasure and said, Brother Qianyu, you're so amazing. Suner can't even beat you. She felt a little frustrated. Xiao Qianyu also walked up to Suner and gently rubbed her little head. Suner has also made great progress. Maybe in a few days, I will have to be promoted to Do Star to defeat Suner. Suner, who was comforted, felt a sweet color in her heart. But she still said helplessly, Mingming Suner feels like she can't even touch Brother Qianyu, if it weren't for you standing still. Chapter 2. Leisure Time. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Xiao Qianyu pursed his lips and never denied it. He still has some confidence in his own level. I don't know if he has a special physique. He felt that his cultivation had not yet encountered any bottleneck, as if as long as he worked hard to cultivate, his cultivation would continue to rise. And in terms of combat skills, it's also like this. He can master almost any combat skill with just a glance and refine it to perfection. At first, he felt like something was wrong. So I deliberately slowed down my pace of cultivation. But later he found out on his own. The fighting spirit he cultivated himself has almost condensed to the extreme. He could have said before that in the fighter stage, one person's fighting spirit is faster than that of 100 people. And because his cultivation speed is too fast. With just one full effort of cultivation, he would almost form a pitch-black black hole. A radius of about 500 miles can have a significant impact. There is almost an ancient and unparalleled pressure that envelopes all living beings. Afterwards, he deliberately suppressed the movement of his cultivation. Although there is no problem with his cultivation. But he still doesn't want too many people to know about this. Even after he revealed his exceptional talent later on. The entire empire knows. Roughly speaking, it will take a few more days. The influential figure of Yunlan's sect is coming down to take him as his disciple. He still has a small expectation. Although he has seen the essence of this world clearly for so many years. A cruel reality. One can do whatever they want with strength. No one cares even if they are killed or tortured without strength. He only worked hard to cultivate because he knew this. Afterwards, he found that Suner and the other members of his Xiao family seemed to be a bit different. Although Suner is the most beautiful woman he has ever seen in his life. It is also the woman he aspires to marry back home in the future. But she always has a sense of mystery. You can tell from her endless array of martial arts and combat techniques. Having more martial arts and fighting skills is not enough. Almost every book of the more outrageous Suner's fighting skills is advanced from the beginner level of the Xian level. There seems to be little respect from Suner towards his grandfather and other elders of the Xiao family. Think of it here. Xiao Qianyu shook his head. Alas, I don't want so much anymore. Let's hurry up and meet Suner. Today, we still need to go to the neighborhood with her to play. He quickened his pace and soon walked towards the door of Suner's room. He knocked on the door. Are our lovely, kind, beautiful, and elegant Miss Suner in the room? Suner had just woken up. I am also happy to hear him say so. Brother Qianyu. Suner, how could you say so well? Suner opened the door and stomped her feet, saying cutely. Okay, I won't say anything about it in the future, okay? Xiao Qianyu joked. Do you dare? The little girl immediately became unhappy. Okay, I dare not, walked forward holding Suner's jade hand. Suddenly being held in the hand, Suner was also surprised in her heart, but she did not struggle. Perhaps it's because she also has a considerable fondness for Xiao Qianyu. The two characters, like exiled immortals, walked out like this. Just a few steps away, I met a handsome young man wearing a white shirt. Looking at the two of them, I felt a bit unwilling, but quickly dispelled my unwillingness. Move forward. Qianyu cousin, what is Suner cousin going to do? Seeing this young man, Xiao Qianyu's expression remained unchanged, while Sun Er also maintained a smile. Although he doesn't really like Xiao Ning. But it's not really annoying. That's all from his childhood. When Xiao Ning was a child, he often used some unfounded reasons to oppose Sun Er. Of course, there was also cousin Xiao Yan at that time. However, despite the exposure of his talent and the disappearance of Xiao Yan's talent. Even if it didn't disappear, Xiao Ning didn't dare to touch Xiao Qianyu again. When Xiao Yan was a star fighter, Xiao Qianyu was already a star fighter. The most terrifying thing is that almost everyone in his generation knows that Xiao Qianyu only prepared to break through the Do at the age of 10. In just 1 year, he became the Douqi Hua Sha Do master. With such talent, everyone who learned about it couldn't help but take a breath. It also completely diluted the fact that Xiao Yan became a fighter. Even directly alarmed, the royal family, the three major families, the Yunlan sect. Many people came to their house at that time. The threshold of the Xiao family's entrance is almost trampled on. This incident also completely concealed some of the Xiao family's small thoughts from the other two major families nearby. Xiao Qianyu and Xiao Ning greeted each other and walked straight out of the Xiao family gate. There are everything sold on the street. Some sell jewelry, some sell Warcraft cores, and some sell other small items. I left almost without thinking about what to buy. Xiao Qianyu saw a blue bracelet at a street stall in front of him. How do I buy this? It's just this blue bracelet. The vendor may be an old man, and after looking at Xiao Qianyu, he knew that the young man in front of him knew he was a wealthy young man. 1,500 gold coins. I think if we have a chance, we can sell it to you at a cheaper price. 1,200 gold coins, the old man said slowly, his gaze unchanged, with a gleam in his eyes. Hey, old man, do you really think we're all ignorant people? This first-level demon core is not very strong, and looking at the blue fighting spirit, I guess it's at most a first-level water fish. It's almost the weakest among first-level demon beasts, and even with the addition of manual fees, it's at most 500 gold coins, said Xiao Qianyu calmly. Well. Young man, you've cut too much, right? Even if it's not worth the price, I still have to support my family. At least 800 gold coins. Otherwise, I won't be able to play. The old man seemed to know he couldn't deceive himself. But I still insist on not cutting the price down to over 500. Xiao Qianyu looked at the blue bracelet and thought for a moment. Sun'er doesn't have a bracelet yet, so she happened to get one as a gift. I have accepted it. This is 800 gold coins, you can count them yourself. Xiao Qianyu casually threw out a money bag. Waiting for the old man's reply. The old man acted quickly at this moment. I took down the money bag. With a smile, he said, no need to count. I can completely trust the reputation of young master Xiao Qianyu. Then hand the chain to Xiao Qianyu. After taking the bracelet, Xiao Qianyu felt his breath. The blue water attribute Douqi had a relieving effect on some people with fire attributes in some cases. Bracelets are considered delicate. Xiao Qianyu held the bracelet and smiled at Sun'er, saying, this is even my gift to our Sun'er. Sun'er was very happy upon hearing this. Without considering it, he said, thank you, Brother Qianyu. Brother Qianyu, can you help me put it on? Then he extended his fair jade hand. Qianqian jade fingers were placed unpreparedly in mid-air, with fair and slender fingers, revealing a light pink color and clear nails. This kind of hand is very attractive in every way. It can even make some people with unique personalities want to put it in his mouth. Of course, Xiao Qianyu is not such a person. He really likes Sun'er's hands. But this is only because Sun'er is the wife he recognizes, that's why he likes it. Well, that's right. That's it. Then she held on to this slender wrist and gently put the bracelet onto Sun'er's hand. After putting it on, he rubbed Sun'er's palm with his fingers before letting go. It startled Sun'er directly. How do you feel? Like Brother Qianyu is very good at playing. Sun'er thought to herself. Next, they continued to stroll around the local market for most of the day, during which Xiao Qianyu used the excuse of giving gifts to Sun'er and took advantage of her. Sun'er also feels angry and funny. Brother Qianyu is really a big pervert, happily walked in front of Xiao Qianyu. Step lightly and briskly. Xiao Qianyu glanced at it and chased after it. The body, like a peerless divine sword, has captivated many young girls and women. Sister Sun'er, why am I such a big pervert? Xiao Qianyu was also a thick-skinned and infuriating person, and whenever there was a chance, he would just hit the snake with his stick. You're such a big pervert, you know it yourself. Sun'er couldn't imagine how thick his Qianyu brother's face was. But how can I say such things about my own girl's family? Humph, it's necrotic, Brother Qianyu. He quickened his pace again and walked towards the direction of the Xiao family. Seeing this, Xiao Qianyu couldn't afford to argue anymore. Step forward and grab Sunar's little hand, then hold it in your hand. Then he gently pinched it. Then he continued walking, pretending to have done nothing. As the sun sets, the immortal couple is right in front of us. The sky continues with colorful clouds, and the setting sun adorns the long sky. Two immortal couples gradually left with envious gazes from the crowd. Chapter 3. The 3-year promise of uninvited guests. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Time passes by. Finally, it's almost time for the arrival of the great figure of Yunlan sect. At this moment, the Xiao family welcomed an unexpected guest. There is a white-clad girl in the hall, with a white-robed grandfather standing next to her and a young man behind her. The girl looked very noble. Of course, the girl may not have much to say. But the boy behind her had a haughty and arrogant appearance. The old man also had a proud expression. The girl winked at the old man. The old man said slowly, "People of Yunlan sect, come to visit the Xiao family." The Xiao parents were naturally greatly disappointed. Quickly kowtow. Please sit down quickly. Bring some good tea to entertain our benefactor of Yunlan sect, said the second elder. The old man in a white robe greeted him with a smile. Master Xiao laughed and joked. Our Yunlan sect has also admired the peerless genius Xiao Qianyu of the Xiao family for a long time. After a while, my sect leader will come to your Xiao family to personally recruit disciples. We came early, but there are some small matters to deal with. Xiao Zhan, clan leader, can you see who this girl is? Pointed at the young woman. The young girl Tingting stands tall and graceful, and from now on, one can see a bit of a stunning beauty. Xiao Zhan looked at it for a while, then thought about it and realized that he also felt a little familiar with this girl. But I just don't know what relationship she has with me. Helplessly, he said, I'm getting older and my memory has also deteriorated a lot. I hope Elder Guyi can explain it in detail. He looked straight at Guyi. Guyi is also calm. Xiao Zhan, the head of the Xiao Zhan clan, still remembers having a marriage agreement when Xiao Yan was young. It was made by the old man of the Xiao family and Nalan Jijia themselves. As soon as Xiao Zhan mentioned it, he immediately understood, but now Yan Er's talent is no longer there. It is highly likely that the other party's mention of this matter is not a good one. But Yunlan sect is a behemoth in the Gamma Empire, with not only Yun Shan, one of the top 10 powerful figures in the Gamma Empire, present within the sect. It is said that the current leader of Yunlan sect, Yunyun, is also a fairly strong fighter against the emperor. Their Xiao family is far inferior to back then. The strongest member of the Xiao family now is Xiao Qianyu, a 5-star fighter. Although Xiao Qianyu is young, among his peers, he can almost be called invincible. Even as a veteran 5-star fighter, he didn't make 2 moves when fighting against Xiao Qianyu at that time. And with such exaggerated combat effectiveness, he even felt that it was far from Xiao Qianyu's limit. After all, at that time he had used his long-practiced Xuanjie fighting technique. The Wild Lion Angry Gang. But Xiao Qianyu easily blocked him with just one yellow step combat technique, the splitting palm. His strength goes far beyond these. Xiao Zhan felt that even if he was a dueling powerhouse, Xiao Qianyu might not necessarily be defeated. But Yunlan Zong cannot do it anymore. Although the Xiao family has had great fortune in recent years, they have a great potential for prosperity. But Yunlan sect has powerful warriors fighting against the emperor. This is something that the Xiao family cannot afford to offend. I don't know, is it necessary for Deacon Guyi to propose this engagement now? Xiao Zhan was also a rolling knife. Asking without face or skin. Guyi was also a bit surprised. As expected, as one gets older, one's face will eventually be abandoned. The clan chief laughed and said that it's not yet time to propose, but we, the young master of Yunlan sect, also known as Nalan Yanran, heard that we have a fiancé. We are also quite concerned about this matter, so we insist on taking this old man to accompany her to see our fiancée. Guyi said smoothly. Behind it, Nalan Yanran heard Guyi say so. How can I still not understand? It's simply because I'm afraid that Xiao Qianyu will come looking for him. I just spoke up and said, Chief Xiao Zhan, my name is Guyi Deacon because of my own idea. When my grandfather was engaged to the Xiao family before, I was still young and didn't understand this kind of thing. But now that I have grown up, I realize what a big deal this is. I am not an impolite person either. I just want to decide my own marriage. Nalan Yanran, don't say how talented I am, but I am definitely not someone who was constrained by a childhood engagement. I came here this time to talk to Chief Xiao about his divorce. Everyone around was shocked and this statement was made. Guyi is also a bit angry. He really doesn't want to offend Xiao Qianyu. After all, this is a person who is considered to be incomparable to even cloud-breaking sky. The young man who came with him was very happy. It is somewhat similar to some strange races called licking dogs. It is said that the licking dog is a creature that, regardless of whether the other person likes it or not, desperately licks the other person with its tongue, which is very disgusting and abnormal. But looking at the silver glow on the young man's chest, there are 3 white scratches. The fighter is 3 stars. A young man who can be said to be a genius. What's even more exaggerated is that Nalan Yanran also has 3 scratches on her chest. Nalan Yanran's age is obviously younger than that young man. It can be seen from this that his talent is high. Xiao Zhan was very angry on his side. This is an agreement between my father and Mr. Nalan. I don't know if Miss Yanran has obtained their consent when she comes to divorce, Mr. and Mrs. Nalan. As he spoke, he couldn't help but show some aura on his body. The Douqi was considered a strong player in a small area. Many young children of the Xiao family were pushed back a few steps by this momentum. Nalan Yanran was still biting her teeth, and Guyi walked forward very aggressively. The aura of the 7-star Big Dipper was also overwhelming. Directly counteracted the momentum of Xiao Zhan. Xiao clan leader, we have some compensation gifts to give to the Xiao family. As long as the Xiao family agrees to divorce, we will take out a Douqi powder as a compensation gift. If we want anything else, we can still come up with a few speed-boosting pills. As soon as these words were spoken, the elders in the hall looked different. Especially the 3rd elder himself, although he has a granddaughter and a grandson, his unpopular grandson is still only in the 9th stage of Doji Qi. If you can obtain this Qi gathering powder, it can almost be said that you have steadily entered the Do stage. As soon as he thought that his grandson could also become a fighter at this age, his eyes turned to this pill with fiery enthusiasm. Since Yunlan's sect has humiliated people like this, then you should go back. Xiao Zhan was furious. Although the 3rd elder is very anxious, he still has a sense of overall situation. I didn't say anything either. Since Chief Xiao is so unwelcome, we have to go back. However, can we take out the engagement? I want to tear it up. I will decide who I, Nalan Yanran, will marry on my own. Nalan Yanran said firmly. Good Nalan's daughter. As I just said, the engagement will only be counted when your grandfather personally speaks. Xiao Zhan was furious, and a red lion faintly appeared on his body. Flexible and agile, the lion roared at the sky and rushed towards the people of Yunlan sect. Behind Guyi, a white cloud eagle also appeared, roaring and charging towards the lion. The mutual cancellation of the two directly shook several young people to the ground. Xiao clan chief, if you don't retreat, then you won't retreat. Are you doing this to want to go to war with our Yunlan sect? Guyi took a breath and angrily said. Chapter 4. Notice of Suspension. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Zhan, what are you doing? This is not where you're messing around. Second elder and third elder quickly scolded Xiao Zhan. After all, although their Xiao family is the leader in Wutan City, they really have no comparability with Yunlan's own. Okay, it was my rudeness. But my thoughts remain the same. If I want to withdraw from the marriage, I must get the consent of Mr. Nalan. Xiao Zhan also felt that he was not suitable for Jade now, so he changed his statement. Dad, I agree to divorce. Xiao Yan suddenly walked in, followed by Xiao Qianyu, the first genius boy of the Xiao family, and Xiao Suner, the first genius girl of the Xiao family. Yanran. Do you really want to divorce? Do you know the consequences of doing so? Xiao Zhan also really loved Xiao Yan and didn't scold him immediately, but asked him if he had considered the consequences. I've thought about it, and if I really want to talk about it, I don't want to marry someone I don't know. This marriage must be terminated today. However, it's not her Nalan Yanran who came to terminate the marriage, but I, Xiao Yan, want to divorce her today. Xiao Yan said angrily. Why are you taking me off? Nalan Yanran couldn't bear it anymore, gritting her teeth and screaming out a few words. As the young leader of Yunlan sect, a genius with great influence. Since childhood, few people have spoken to her like this. Even her grandfather, she is a bit afraid of him. But Nalan Jia usually doesn't say anything about her. Why do you, a person with 3 levels of fighting spirit, say that to me? Although people in the capital say you used to be a genius, now you see how foolish I was before. People like you can't go too far. Miss Nalan. Please take it seriously. Xiao Zhan couldn't bear it anymore. Dad, this kind of person doesn't need to say anything more to her. Xiao Yan took the engagement handed over by his father and publicly tore it up. Then, with a sideways glance, he bit his hand hard and wrote some words on a piece of cloth. After finishing writing, he rudely threw it next to Nalan Yanran. Everyone is a master, so naturally a large part of them have a clear understanding of the content on this cloth. The general meaning is, today, I, Xiao Yan, have divorced Nalan Yanran, this unfilial wife. In addition, for 30 years in the east and west of the river, do not deceive the youth into poverty. You better expect me, Xiao Yan, to be a waste for the rest of my life. After reading it, everyone silently pondered and did not say anything. Most of them have different expressions. All right. All right. This is my good son. This divorce certificate is the opinion of our Xiao family, Xiao Zhan said beside him. Nalan Yanran was young and full of energy. Seeing this made her scalp explode with anger. Biting your teeth, you. You're going too far. Deacon Guyi, let's go. She is not entirely a fool, and today's affairs cannot be resolved. We can only give up on this. The young man behind him was still somewhat resentful. He looked at all the members of the Xiao family with a haughty expression. It's just being petty, he said humbly and left directly. I just took a step with my foot. A strong aura enveloped him directly from behind. He was covered in pressure and his bones were making noise. Sweating profusely. Looking behind with a pale face. A young man with sword eyes and starry eyes. I don't know how I offended you, brother. Please be merciful, said the young man in white, knowing that he had offended the strong. I dare not argue anymore. Humph. Xiao Qianyu stomped his foot, his momentum like a huge wave, instantly flapping the young man in white. Keep hitting the wall outside. A mouthful of blood flowed out of the mouth. The young man in white looked at Xiao Qianyu with resentment. There was nothing more to say, so I quickly followed behind Guyi and the others. Guyi was also surprised and angry. Anger is anger, and Xiao Qianyu hardly paid attention to him. Surprised, his aura has completely reached the level of high-level doling. Before speaking, think carefully and don't be killed by anyone. I strongly support cousin Xiao Yan. Miss Nalan Yanran's actions may be right, but our Xiao family cannot be humiliated. Xiao Qianyu said coldly. After such a round, the young children outside the hall also increasingly admired Xiao Qianyu. Along with it, Sun Er's eyes became even brighter. If you don't respect the people of the Xiao family, I'm afraid I won't respect them either. If you're not convinced, you can come and confront me on your own. Standing in the hall, he said with the momentum of wanting to test the world of swords. Nalan Yanran became even angrier at this moment. Why do I know it's so difficult to decide on my marriage? But there was a slight wave of joy in my eyes. No wonder, with Xiao Qianyu's beauty, she is directly on the same level as readers, belonging to the kind that is unparalleled in heaven and earth, eternal. If there is a rating for her appearance, then Xiao Qianyu would probably get 10,000 points. And the strength is still so strong. Since ancient times, heroes have loved beauties, but why don't beauties love heroes? If I dare not say anything harsh anymore, I will just leave. It took a while for the lobby to react. Okay, he deserves to be my grandson. This kid is not bad, said the second elder and third elder. Xiao Zhan also said with gratitude, thank you to the young clan leader for what he has done for the dog. Coincidentally, I am also getting old. Retire after a while. Brother Yu, thank you so much this time. Xiao Yan also looked at Xiao Qianyu with emotion. Although they played well when they were young, their own talents disappeared. How many people turn a blind eye to him is still clear to him, and Xiao Qianyu in front of him has never changed his opinion. Previously, it was said that when I was a child, I was led by him and Xiao Qianyu, but now I have become one of the pillars of my family. He really worked hard. This time it was another big help for me. He also breathed a deep sigh of relief. It's also good to let Yudi become the clan leader ahead of schedule. You're welcome, cousin Xiao Yan. These are all things that should be done. Our Xiao family should be united. Not everyone can insult the Xiao family at will. Xiao Qianyu waved his hand. However, let's leave the position of clan leader to Uncle Xiao. I feel like I may not stay in the Xiao family for too long. Besides, the fault of Guyi and the others just now should not be blamed on the Yunlan sect. In a few days, they will come to take in their apprentices. Don't make such a fuss, it can be considered as a hasty reconciliation. He still really wants to go and see Yunlan sect, even if he doesn't join Yunlan sect in the end. His own fighting skills are really mediocre. So much so that he doesn't even want to use it during battles. Originally, my fighting spirit was incredibly solid. But the power of these fighting skills is not even as strong as some of the moves one can easily use. His whole body was barely visible from Xiao Zhan's raging lion. The others are all around the yellow scale. Chapter 5. Yunlan Sect, Yunyun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Originally, Sun said she wanted to give him a general high-level cultivation technique after he broke through the dough. He refused before hearing his name. Alas, back then you were young and full of energy. As the saying goes, there is no advantage, no advantage. In this world, you may think that your dignity can be maintained by your personality, but in fact, it is all linked to something. Strength. Without strength, no matter how hard you don't go, if you are insulted by others, you will still be insulted. Not a bit soft. If it were a man, perhaps he could die with a bit of face, but if it were a woman, it would really make people feel hopeless. The innocence of women in this world is really important. In addition, with the concept of respecting the strong, if it is really a woman. It's easy to say if you're killed. But some people often use more malicious methods, such as infringing on her in front of her family. 10,000 words omitted here, he also regretted it. If it weren't for his impulsive refusal, he wouldn't be practicing any useless fireworks tricks now. Not to mention the advanced yellow level. And the name is also very unpleasant. It's unlucky. After thinking about it, let's go back first. After 4 or 5 days, the elders of the Xiao family got up early in the morning and gathered together. They are all waiting in the hall. During this period, he also pulled Xiao Qianyu over. Let him stay well in his position. You can't act around or anything. Yawning and waiting here for a long time, I haven't seen anyone coming. Just as I was about to tell the elder to go back, suddenly an extremely beautiful woman came outside the gate, followed by an old man, and there were many deacons at the back. The leading woman was dressed in a tight golden-purple silk robe, with 3,000 green threads, tied up in the shape of a phoenix chirping, exuding an indescribable nobility. Her appearance was peaceful and beautiful, like a clear spring in a secluded mountain. While she was revered for her noble status, she couldn't help but give birth to a beautiful and charming charm. This woman is truly unparalleled. The elders of the Xiao family all bowed their hands one by one, smiling and welcoming the members of the Yunlan sect to their respective positions. Xiao Zhan also hurriedly said, "The Xiao family welcomes all the leaders and elders of Yunlan sect." Xiao Qianyu beside him also bowed. A white coat is better than snow. Little Xiao Qianyu, greetings to all the elders and leaders of Yunlan sect, he said with a bow and greet them calmly. The leading beautiful woman gave a gentle smile, which seemed to warm the four seasons, causing Xiao Qianyu's gaze to lose focus for a while. It wasn't until the sudden pain in his waist that he realized it. Xiao Suner snorted on the side and withdrew her hand. Xiao Qianyu couldn't help but feel a bit amused. This girl herself just lost her mind for a while, and that's the reaction. No matter how many beasts you are, you won't fall in love with someone directly after meeting them. The old man behind the leading woman said without waiting for the woman to speak, "Okay. Okay. Okay. Don't be surprised, don't be chaotic in the face of danger, don't be humble or arrogant. This person is someone who can become a great person at first glance." Yunshan spoke, thinking that Yunshan's happy eyes should already be able to see Xiao Qianyu's cultivation. The people behind him also looked at Xiao Qianyu with admiration when Yunshan said this. Young Master Qianyu is truly a dignified and elegant person, the dragon among people. At a young age, one's cultivation level is so high. His unparalleled talent for cultivation is evident. The name of a person, the shadow of a tree, young Master Qianyu's future is boundless. After a commotion, the leading woman said, "I see that Qianyu has unparalleled talent. If nothing unexpected happens in the future, he will become a true strong player in his side. I don't know if he is interested in becoming my own disciple." She then looked at Xiao Qianyu with a gentle gaze. After becoming her disciple, she should be able to go to Yunlan sect to learn their various advanced martial arts. But after doing it, there will be a very big limitation that you may not be able to join other sects in the future. In the future, when Yunlanzong encounters difficulties, he will have to go back and help out. I weighed my current tattered condition. Xiao Qianyu still decided to join Yunlan sect. Me too. Ha ha ha, just as Xiao Qianyu said he wanted to join, a burst of laughter came from the sky. Don't rush to join the Cloud Lanzong with such talent, young friend. Don't take a look at our Gamma royal family first. We won't miss out on what the Cloud Lanzong has, and as long as the young friend is worthy of our trust, we can even betroth the little princess to us. The old man wearing a yellow robe also walked into the door of the Xiao family. Heavenly punishment, this time we came first. Even if we join, we still need to join our Yunlan sect, and how can your royal family join? It's not a sect. Do you still need to use marriage to restrain Qianyu? Yunling looked at him with a mocking expression. What's not allowed about this? As long as the young friend is willing, our royal family can also make an exception for the young friend. The punishment day couldn't bear it anymore, so he said so. Yunlan sect is already strong enough. The current patriarch Yunyun doesn't say, but it's unclear whether the old man Yunshan has died or not. There is a high probability that he did not die. A living Yunshan with Yunyun, no one in the Gamma Empire can easily suppress them anymore. If they were to be given such a genius again, the royal family would really have to consider changing their name and surname. After he spoke for a while, many strong men came to this place in the sky. There are even 3 or 4 strong individuals with fighting wings. This has shocked the people of the Xiao family to the extreme. You should know that the strongest in their family is just the Big Dipper. Mu family, come and visit. The Meitel family, come and visit. Yan Shi, come and visit. Feng Li, come and visit. In short, none of the people who came were famous and powerful. The Xiao family is undoubtedly very shocked. Seeing so many big shots rushing to this place. They can only curry favor in various ways at once. Various receptions. There is no doubt that a more solemn atmosphere has been achieved on the field now. Xiao Qianyu also understands that his decision may affect many people. The most obvious thing is that if their own Xiao family cannot establish a friendly relationship. Although these forces won't bring themselves down to find fault, will they? At least we can use some small tricks on the Xiao family in some places. This is something that Xiao Qianyu cannot tolerate. He needs to ensure the prosperity of his family. After all, this was the last sentence his father said before his death. He didn't have many memories when he was a child. But he still remembers that his father fell in battle with the strong enemy of the Xiao family, and before his fall, Xiao Qianyu himself was only 5 years old. Watching my father, whose face was covered in blood, collapse in front of me. God knows how sad and helpless he was at that time. He only knew that his father died in glory, to cover up for the Xiao family. Finally, when he returned home, the family erected a monument of merit for his father. He remembered his grandfather saying that his father's talent was very low at first, but he didn't want his son's talent to be the same as his own. So I decided to marry a powerful wife. Chapter 6. Apprenticeship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At first, no one agreed with his father's approach. But later on, he forcefully moved a powerful young prodigy. My father forcefully married that woman with the realm of a master of martial arts. Although the high-ranking officials of that powerful force later found out about this, they did not blame their father. On the contrary, he was given many resources for his cultivation and agreed with him that as long as his father could reach the level of Dozong, he would be allowed to be with them. My father is also an iron-blooded man who, without talent, cannot grasp combat skills by chance and goes to a life-or-death duel with the enemies of the Xiao family. In the end, his father also struggled to reach a very high level, but was easily suppressed when fighting a group of black-robed people later on. So covered in blood that I could only see my last side. This makes him feel very unwilling. He has a strong premonition. Perhaps his father hasn't died yet. Just disappeared with blood all over. Yes. Disappeared. Just disappeared. Thinking of this, Xiao Qianyu became even more determined to become stronger. At this point, he thought he already understood which sect he wanted to join. He looked at the stunning woman and said. As soon as the words, "I want to join Yunlan's sect," were spoken, a shocking wave came through. There was silence all around. Even if a needle falls to the ground, it may be heard. The royal family was more regretful for not stopping Yunlan's own. But for others, it was an expected feeling. Before coming, they also thought that geniuses like Xiao Qianyu could not join their family. They just came to seek a favor. I hope to become a strong member of Dozong in the future and treat my family well. And Nalan Su, who came together, still felt a sense of happiness. He had an engagement with the Xiao family, and when Xiao Qianyu became a peerless powerhouse in the future, he could even take care of his own family. Do you still feel a little happy when you think about it? It can also be considered as tying a thigh of a future powerhouse. Although he is not sure if he can defeat Xiao Qianyu now, at least it is a family relationship. He slapped his thigh at the thought of this, and today he'll have a drink or two before leaving. The camera came to Xiao Qianyu's side, and Yunyun was also a bit surprised. She thought that in the end, Xiao Qianyu would choose other forces. But it's okay, I received a peerless genius today. Her Yunlan sect is really in high spirits. Let's finish this apprenticeship ceremony for him today, as it happens to be witnessed by many heroes and heroes. It's also good, under the witness of all the strong people, our Yunlan sect has become famous. Yunlan can't wait. After all, if this genius enters Yunlan sect in the future, he can definitely bless its prosperity. It feels like the disciple that this sect leader is preparing to accept can even make him feel a sense of crisis. Half a day later, the tedious apprenticeship ceremony has ended. Xiao Qianyu is also preparing to go with Yunyun to Yunlan sect, but there are still some things to explain. Especially for Sun Er, who was a little jealous, he put in a lot of effort to comfort her. And I promised her that I would come back to see her once a month to reluctantly agree. Even so, he was still indignant. Before comforting Xiao Qianyu, he was still dignified, but after comforting him, his clothes were messy, and there was even a shallow tooth mark on his neck. It can only be said that this little girl's teeth are not white long. It looks very white, but it also hurts when bitten. After a little tidying up, Xiao Qianyu went to bid farewell to his grandfather. The second elder was also reluctant for his grandson to leave. He knew that Xiao Qianyu, the real dragon, would eventually reveal his sharp claws. The dragon danced in the shallow abyss, the phoenix flew in the 9 heavens, and the great peng rose with the wind in one day, soaring up 90,000 miles. This old man didn't say anything, just said that he hopes to see a truly strong person next time we meet. The wind is silent, but the youth has already embarked on the journey. Clouds and mists surround, and the mountains are higher than the sky. Going further down, one will almost fall into an endless abyss. This can be considered a natural holy land for cultivation. Xiao Qianyu has been practicing here for 2 days now. And Yunyun did not mistreat him either. Let him come directly to this back mountain for cultivation. I heard that there is a possibility of encountering their old sect leader who has been in seclusion on the back mountain. The old patriarch is extremely powerful, and many years ago he was already the top 10 powerhouse of the Gamma Empire. By now, it should have been possible to further become a dozong. He also asked Yunyun for a martial arts book yesterday. Speaking of martial arts, there is a strange thing. I don't know if it's due to his special physique or some other reasons. He can cultivate almost any attribute of martial arts. When he first became a fighter, he thought he was a cultivator with fire attributes. But later on, he glanced at the Yan Hui used by Sun Er and directly refined it to a perfect state. Then suddenly, I realized that I had recklessly developed a new combat technique. At that time, the sky changed drastically. The storm gathered and rainstorm fell. Amidst the wind and rain, there is still rolling thunder. It was pitch black all around, and suddenly, a silver dragon cut through the sky and headed straight towards the other side of the mountain. In an instant, the mountain collapsed and the earth cracked with a loud roar. It took a long time to return to tranquility. At that time, he already knew the name of his fighting skill, Lei Gang Rampage, which was a powerful technique that could be used to utilize the power of heaven and earth when practicing to a great extent. He currently doesn't know what level this cultivation belongs to. But he guessed that he might have reached the advanced level of the earth. And this kind of cultivation has pure wind and thunder attributes. Divided into 2 stages, the first stage. The wind rises, the second stage. Lei Wu. Because it was his own study of martial arts, he had already reached the highest level at the first successful use. Thunder is boundless. The speed is far faster than Yan Hui. Of course, because Yan Hui is a combat skill that can be attacked, his derived combat skill can also be attacked. During high-speed movement, one will transform into lightning and can directly baptize objects they encounter with lightning. He had known since then that he could have multiple attributes. Shortly thereafter, he cultivated other attributes that he needed, such as greenwood entanglement, big rock shield. So when Yunyun asked him what attribute of the martial arts he wanted, he directly mentioned the wind attribute, because as is well known, there is only one wind attribute martial arts book in Yunlan's sect that is of the earth level, and there is no advantage in it. Moreover, as a disciple of Yunyun, he is also qualified to learn the highest attribute martial arts of Yunlan's sect. Chapter 7. Nalan Yanran. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After he completed his cultivation, he even felt like he had drifted away. It shouldn't be described as flying. He felt that his strength had increased more than 10 times because of the special nature of the cultivation. He could also use this cultivation to regain his fighting spirit during battles. The speed at which this cultivation restores fighting spirit is dozens of times faster than before. The previous fireworks technique was originally low level, and he was very concerned about the basics. The level of condensed fighting spirit is at least 50 times higher than others. So much so that he could hardly regain his fighting spirit with his previous techniques. Although the speed of this technique is not particularly fast, it can at least restore half of the fighting spirit in a short period of time. This is simply disadvantageous in battle, okay. He has improved his martial arts strength by 2 stars in the past few days. He is now a 7-star master. Feeling a strong fighting spirit in his body, he had confidence that even against the dueling king, he was confident that he would kill him head-on. At this thought, he felt a bit regretful and even a bit arrogant. No. This is not enough. This is far from enough. After speaking, he continued to sit up and practice. He absorbed his fighting energy so quickly that a vortex of about 10 meters was even formed around him. In theory, with such a violent absorption of fighting energy, the fighting energy inside must be chaotic and disorganized. But there is also a deeper black hole inside the vortex. It seems like it can filter out all the chaotic fighting spirit, leaving only an incredibly pure fighting spirit. His cultivation level is also constantly soaring. Half a day later, Xiao Qianyu had already sat up. It's not because he has already been promoted, but because he is confident that he can directly break through the barrier of the Big Dipper 8 stars. However, in this way, the foundation he has been working on before will collapse completely, which is something he doesn't want to see. So he stopped and prepared to go to the training ground to hone his fighting spirit through competition. Make it no longer frivolous. Halfway through, I met a month-old white-robed girl with a delicate and curvaceous body. Underneath her plump willow waist was a pair of fair and straight long legs. Seeing Xiao Qianyu coming, Nalan Yanran also had a complicated expression. Not long ago, she went to the Xiao family to withdraw her marriage. Later, she encountered Yunyun accepting Xiao Qianyu as her disciple. Although she was his senior sister, she probably didn't like the things she had done before. After a bitter smile, he was still ready to say hello to Xiao Qianyu. Junior brother Qianyu, where are you going? His red lips slightly parted. It's senior sister. Hello senior sister, I have encountered a bottleneck in my cultivation and want to go to the martial arts arena to seek spiritual inspiration. Xiao Qianyu didn't care about this at all. After all, at that time he didn't feel that Nalan Yanran was doing anything wrong, it was just that he was from the Xiao family. Most people in the Xiao family treat him very well and with great respect, which is why he taught that young man a lesson. After thinking about it, he smiled at Nalan Yanran and said, "Do you want to come with senior sister Yanran? I just arrived at this place, and I'm not very familiar with it." Xiao Qianyu stood straight there, like a peerless divine sword, not angry or intimidating. However, after he smiled, it seemed as if sunlight had dispersed the endless darkness, shining brightly and warmly. Nalan Yanran was stunned when she saw this scene, and her little head kept thinking about the scene just now. My face turned red as I thought about it. As soon as I woke up, I saw a fair and slender palm swaying in front of me. It turned out that Xiao Qianyu wanted to get closer and ask when Nalan Yanran was still moving. As soon as he approached, he saw that she was in a daze, and that's why he made the same move as before. Sure, Nalan Yanran hurriedly replied that he was lucky enough not to neglect himself, and even invited himself to the martial arts arena, so I naturally couldn't refuse him. Shaking the image out of my mind, there was still a hint of redness on my fair and delicate little face, which looked extremely cute. "Junior brother, I'll show you the way," he said, and walked to the front without hesitation. Along the way, he also explained to Xiao Qianyu about his actions at the Xiao family at that time. Xiao Qianyu naturally had no intention of blaming her, so he forgave him on the spot. In the martial arts arena of Yunlan sect, disciples challenge themselves and constantly improve themselves here. "Look at my white cloud palm," attacked the person across from him with a slow attack, but the black-clad young man across from him was also a trainee. Directly lying on the ground, the first move of the wolf howl technique, the dog lying, happened to dodge in time. Then, looking at the person who had just launched the attack, he mercilessly used a strange fighting technique, with his fingers slightly bent, forming a claw shape. 2 hands, 1 claw, and 1 fist. First, he quickly rushed to the attacker and grabbed a paw directly at his chest. The one on the other side also reacted quickly. "Lift your arm and it's blocked." But the next moment, a punch mark fell on his stomach, and the power brought by the punch mark pushed him back several steps. As he was about to fall off the arena, he stepped on the ground with both legs, but his strong hind legs still left 2 shallow scratches on the ground. Of course, it could also be that his own shoes were scratched and left behind. "Damn it! Brother Lu, this is what you forced me to do." The young man in white clothes had his hands imprinted, and soon his hands were enveloped in a white halo. After finishing these young men in white, they flew in and punched the young man in black. It looked fierce, and the young man in black didn't forcefully touch it. He used the direct wolf howling technique in a dog lying posture, one lying on the ground. He narrowly dodged, but before he could strike, another punch hit him from top to bottom. At that moment, he could no longer dodge. But the dog lying posture is not such an inconvenient move, swift as a wolf, agile as a dog. This is the preliminary meaning of the wolf howl technique. Take a dog-like tumble directly on the ground and easily dodge the downward hammer from the young man in white. The young man in white saw that even this move had failed, and quickly used his foot to kick him away. The young man in black had already walked back in a strange posture, and lie down directly on the young man in white at a faster speed. The wolf howl technique was activated again, with 2 feet fiercely hooked onto the young man in white to prevent him from falling. I have no idle hands either. Claw by claw, the young man in white was scratched with bloodstains, and when he jumped off his body, a punch hit the young man in white on the back. This punch was clearly solid, and the young man in white immediately flew out of the arena, falling high to the ground, seriously injured and unconscious. "Lu Xiaoji, why are you so cruel? Senior brother Bai is clearly powerless to fight anymore, why do you still want to hit him severely?" Many people in the audience blame Lu Xiaoji. Chapter 8. Divine Power. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. It's said to be blaming, but in the near future, there will be a big competition among inner disciples. Lu Xiaoji is very strong, and many people cannot defeat him. Previously, I looked at Baijan, the so-called senior brother, and hoped to spend some time with him. It would be best if both of them were seriously injured. In this way, they have a better chance of getting a higher ranking when they compete inside the door. But who knows that this white exhibition is not good enough? It was beaten up and I don't even know his mother. It's completely hopeless, so everyone plans to condemn Lu Xiaoji in hope that the sect can cancel his qualification for the grand competition. Xiao Qianyu and Nalan Yanran heard so many people arguing here as soon as they arrived, so they asked them what was going on. Everyone showed great respect to Nalan Yanran and quickly explained the whole story. When Nalan Yanran heard that Baijan had been severely injured, she also frowned. Although he felt that Lu Xiaoji was not at fault, at least Baijan was his own disciple. It's necessary to teach him myself. So he said to the crowd, "Where is Lu Xiaoji?" Everyone also pointed to Lu Xiaoji. This made Lu Xiaoji, who pretended to be coerced with his back to everyone, very eager to scold his mother. He was just over defending himself, and now that his senior sister is here, he must be scolded. He thought for a moment and then looked at his own senior sister with a pleasing expression. "Senior sister, I'm here. I don't know why you're looking for junior brother." Nalan Yanran is also a bit helpless, so iron-headed. She first asked, "Did you duel with Baijan and then hit him seriously?" Lu Xiaoji is also completely devoid of falsehood. "Yes, but I was just defending at that time. If I didn't defend. Now it's me lying on the ground," Lu Xiaoji said with a smile and scratched his head. "Oh, do you mean it's just excessive defense?" Nalan Yanran asked again. That's right. I just over-defended. I have always respected senior brother Bai, so it's possible that he might intentionally be seriously injured," Lu Xiaoji said sincerely. "So, senior sister also wants to spar with you for a while, okay?" she said, revealing the aura of a 3-star fighter. The fighting spirit of wind attributes quickly gathered on her. "Duel, of course this is not allowed." Although it is completely possible to beat Nalan Yanran violently, the people of Yunlan sect know that Nalan Yanran is the young master or Yunyun's disciple. If I accidentally hurt her, who knows if Yunyun will come to find him, as well as the various high-level officials of Yunlan sect. To take a step back, even if it's not about finding him, he still can't bear to be treated with small expectations in other places in the future. Well, since I can't compete with senior sister, maybe the senior brother behind me wants to compete with me. I just saw him come in with an eager look to try. "Kid. You must protect your own face since he looks so handsome." The gaze he had just managed to attract was taken away by the two of them, so he naturally dared not say anything to Nalan Yanran. But for this little white face, he is 10,000 times dissatisfied. A stranger dares to put on airs towards him. "I'll see if I'll beat you up badly." This just as Nalan Yanran was about to reveal Xiao Qianyu's identity, Xiao Qianyu accepted his challenge directly. I also looked at her side. Okay, this junior brother is also an restless master. Compared to Lu Xiaoji, she thinks it's much better to be a junior brother. So she didn't say anything more. The people around looked at Xiao Qianyu with a dazed expression, and those female disciples were even more concerned about the small heart in their eyes. "So handsome. When did you join our Yunlan sect?" "I had a dream yesterday that I would meet my future husband today." "Is this fate? You naughty fox, do you want to show some face? How could you openly seduce my junior brother? He has just joined our Yunlan sect. As a senior sister, I must protect him." Well, waves of discussion echoed, and Xiao Qianyu was immediately frightened as he jumped onto the arena. "Let's start, senior brother. I'm afraid I'll be surrounded by those female disciples if I don't start again." Nalan Yanran also gave Xiao Qianyu a faint glance, and now that she had just arrived at Yunlan sect, she wanted to show off and flirt. "In the future, that will be okay." "Humph. He is really a bad junior brother. I need to discipline him well in the future." Obviously, Nalan Yanran has already incorporated herself into the image of her senior sister. "Damn kid, this time I'm going to hit you in bed and you're lying in a cocoon." I clenched my fist hard. "Senior brother, can we start now?" Looking at the senior brother on stage with a gloomy expression in his eyes. He also understood that this guy was just a petty person. Okay, we can start now." Senior brother was just thinking about something just now. He smiled kindly at Xiao Qianyu. "Junior brother, if you really can't do it, just give up." He is a vicious senior brother who has been practicing for over a year. "Junior brother, let's endure it for now and not have the same opinion as him." The female disciples of Yunlan sect are really worried about Xiao Qianyu. After finally encountering such a beautiful junior brother, I can't let this dog get beaten. Upon hearing the concern of most people below the stage, Xiao Qianyu also smiled helplessly. Does he look so weak? But the feeling of being worried is quite good. We can't disappoint our senior sisters, but we can't show too much strength. If we suddenly show off the strength of the Big Dipper, then this guy will definitely give up. After thinking for a while, he decided to only showcase the strength of Douqi Wuxing. After all, this senior brother's strength is also Douqi Wuxing. After thinking about it, he no longer hesitated. Directly unleashed the aura of a 5-star fighter. The strong momentum directly pushed Lu Xiaoji back a small step. Junior brother, let me tell you. It's better for you to use less of this kind of bravado move in front of real strong people. Lu Xiaoji is also a genius and didn't even think about it for a moment. I just thought that my junior apprentice was using exaggerated moves. At the moment he transformed into a dog again and lay on the ground, his speed skyrocketed by almost double. Xiao Qianyu quietly watched as he continued to approach. This move is indeed a bit strange. If he guessed correctly, there should be a few more moves behind this move. Just as he ran up to Xiao Qianyu, he didn't actually use his strange fist and claw skills. Instead, his eyes turned red and sharp teeth suddenly appeared in his mouth, making him want to bite him in one breath. Chapter 9. Shocked People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But how could Xiao Qianyu, as he wished, directly use the Thunderbolt Flash to move quickly and come behind him? I casually unleashed a fierce lion rage in my hand. Lu Xiaoji had the heart to resist, but Xiao Qianyu's moves were beyond his ability to resist. The red lion swiftly turned Lu Xiaoji's dog lying on the ground into a real one. Lu Xiaoji still wanted one last powerless resistance. But the lion transformed from Xiao Qianyu's fighting spirit slapped him unconscious. Then he roared and forcefully pushed him to the bottom of the arena. Then Xiao Qianyu smiled slightly at the crowd and said, "It seems that I won." It was really a difficult battle. Although everyone thought he was in Versailles, they had no evidence. Xiao Qianyu, who is still standing in the middle of the arena, is undoubtedly eye-catching. Compared to the two people sleeping on the ground around him, he was spotless. I didn't get any dirt on my whole body. And the use of Xuanjie fighting skills is superb. The fighting spirit is incredibly strong. Accidentally, it made many young girls' hearts flutter. Even Nalan Yanran, who was standing beside her, had beautiful eyes shining brightly. I didn't expect this junior brother to really be able to pretend. Although he looks very handsome, I still feel that he will be a thorn in the future. Is there anyone else to compare with me now? Xiao Qianyu did not forget his purpose. One person is not enough at present, and he needs more people to hone himself. At least let his fighting spirit dry up. He doesn't even know if his fighting spirit has not dried up or if it has decreased. Everyone was a bit speechless when they saw Xiao Qianyu like this. This guy is really arrogant. However, there were still not many people going up. It took several times before someone arrived. This is a person with a strong physique. Xiang Chromium, come and ask for advice. Xiao Qianyu also clenched his fist, and he would not disrespect those polite people. Junior brother, I see that you easily defeated Lu Xiaoji. My strength is on par with him, but I still want to try my full strength. Please teach me. Speaking, he used his strongest fighting skills, the Stone of Collapse. His fighting spirit turned into huge rocks floating in the air through his actions. Go with a command, the rock easily ran to Xiao Qianyu's side. Surrounded Xiao Qianyu one by one, forming a huge ball. As long as you can take my move, I'll just give up. Condensing. Breaking. The giant stone slowly closed. Just as they were about to completely merge together, a huge explosion erupted. With a loud bang. Even some of the surrounding arena is about to crack, which shows how powerful this fighting technique is. Xiao Qianyu estimated that this fighting skill definitely surpassed their strongest attack fighting skill, the Mad Lion Angry Gang, and may have reached the advanced level of the Xian level. At the moment when the boulder burst, Xiao Qianyu's expression remained unchanged. directly unleashed the thunderbolt flash, transformed into a lightning bolt and walked out directly. Seeing that Xiao Qianyu was unharmed, Xiang Chrome couldn't help but feel a bit disappointed. He was really being compared from a distance. The people around were also a bit excited. Xiao Qianyu's strength is really extraordinary. Brave and powerful, breaking through the enemy like the palm of a finger. These young girls have never seen such a strong person before. It's just a young demon. Is there anyone else challenging now? Xiao Qianyu continued to say, everyone, look at me, I look at you. But no one dared to go up, and Xiao Qianyu on stage also smiled helplessly. It's really not possible. I've only been to Yunlan Sect for a few days now and can't find any opponents. What should we do in the future? Junior brother, we can go find the teacher and ask him to help us practice, Nalan Yanran said at this moment. Yes. We can go find the teacher. After speaking, he excitedly pulled Nalan Yanran away. Only the envious crowd remained. On the back mountain of Yunlan Sect, with the extreme wind, the setting sun shining, a blue hurricane collided directly with the young man in front in a crushing posture. But the young man calmly used the collapsed stone he had learned before, dozens of giant stones forming a super large stone wall, blocking all these hurricanes outside the door. Yunyun across from her also didn't expect her little disciple to have such fighting skills, and was stunned for a moment. As her bright eyes regained consciousness, a silver dragon rushed towards her. She couldn't dodge and burst into full force, and the strength of Douhuang 4 stars could even shake Xiao Qianyu into a state of weightlessness. But he still instantly realized it. With an immeasurable fighting spirit gathered in his right hand, a lion's head, about less than a foot long, quickly flew towards Yunyun. At least Yunyun is also a strong fighter against the Emperor. With both hands supporting it, an invisible wind shield of over 10 meters formed in front of it. The lion's head and wind shield froze, but as time passed, the lion's head gradually became somewhat illusory. Damn it, it seems that although my fighting spirit may be solid, I haven't reached the level of Emperor Do. Is my fighting spirit still inferior to that of my master? But he didn't lose heart for too long, he's just a big fighter now. I can already play 4 or 6 games with my own teacher. He estimated that once he reached the realm of Doling, he could almost have a strong advantage over the normal Dozong. He felt that as long as he solved all his current shortcomings, easily defeating the Dozong might not be impossible. Back just now, when the lion's head was about to go out, the thunder dragon appeared again, and this time there were only 2, one on the left and one on the right. Yunyun couldn't distinguish which one was real and which one was fake for a while, and could only release a gust of wind. The wind rose. But it is obvious that the thunder dragon will not be afraid of such powerful winds, and withstanding hurricanes will entangle Yunyun. Teacher, this time I won. Lei Long reappeared as Xiao Qianyu, showing off to Yunyun in a good mood. Alright, you won, you're really amazing. Whether on the surface or in the heart, Yunyundo thinks that his disciple is really amazing. Speaking of which, the young emperor feels that it's not an exaggeration. I was extremely lucky to receive this disciple. Not only is his talent unparalleled, but he is also very filial. Yes, after a month of wear and tear, Xiao Qianyu not only became the pinnacle of the great Do master, but also grew to a close relationship with Yunyun and Nalan Yanran. Although he consciously suppressed his cultivation speed exceeded others by more than 100 times. Even if he suppressed his cultivation speed to the latter half, he had already reached the peak of the great Do master a month ago, and he was the kind of person whose fighting spirit had been enriched to the extreme. Not breaking through is just for the sake of one's own foundation. But now it's almost done. He had a premonition that his strength would increase several times after becoming a fighting spirit. Thinking of this, he no longer suppressed himself. Sitting on the ground, silently practicing one's own techniques. A frenzy of fighting spirit swept over. Like a tornado. Numerous and vast. He had already absorbed all the fighting spirit within a radius of 10 meters within 5 minutes. This speed is already very fast. Nalan Yanran, who was just about to arrive, was both envious and happy when she saw this scene. Her envy was because she envied her junior brother for arriving at Douqi so quickly. Her joy was because her junior brother was so competitive. In the future, he will definitely be able to fully establish the reputation of Yunlan sect. And my junior brother is also so charming. Every time she asks him a question, he always comes to answer her at the first time. Without any hesitation. She felt that her junior brother's understanding of some practices could not even be compared to their master. The tornado on the mountain is still spreading in all directions. Chapter 10. Fighting Spirit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Careful observation reveals that tornadoes are not just a single green color, but also a small amount of red. Since Xiao Qianyu had practiced 2 martial arts before, he was surprised to find that these 2 techniques could be combined and used, even though his fireworks technique was a piece of trash. Stacking has little impact, but mosquito legs are also meat, okay. Although he won't be greedy, he won't have to use it anymore. The diameter of a tornado has gradually expanded from about 10 meters in the beginning to 100 meters in the current area. And surprisingly, its momentum has not diminished at all. On this side, Xiao Qianyu also felt a continuous surge of fighting spirit in his body, but there was still no sign of breaking through the fighting spirit. He was somewhat puzzled and went straight for about half an hour before the fighting spirit crystals in his body slowly turned into thorny sea urchin crystals. At this moment, he suddenly realized that to become a Douqi, the energy I have absorbed is already far enough for ordinary people. However, I am not something that ordinary people can compare to. When I was a Douqi master before, my fighting spirit in my body was almost 100 times that of a normal person. Moreover, I have laid the foundation for a whole month. The fighting spirit in my body now is not only 200 times that of a typical fighting spirit, but at least 190 times that. So he quickened his pace of absorbing fighting spirit again, and the huge green and red tornado grew wildly once again. While its momentum grew even more powerful, it actually had impressive power, and directly pulled up a big tree growing upside down below the cliff. At this moment, Xiao Qianyu at the center of the storm became increasingly calm, but on the contrary, he was out of place with the storm outside. But only he knew that the sea urchin's Douqi crystals inside his body were forming at a relatively slow rate. Although he found that he underestimated the fighting spirit in his body during the formation of sea urchin crystals, at least he had 300 times the amount of normal fighting spirit. After another half hour, the storm gradually subsided. Looking around, it was already a mess. There are constantly sawdust and leaves torn off by the previous storm on the ground. Xiao Qianyu slowly stood up, and at this moment his eyes slowly opened. In the moment he opened his eyes, 2 green energy beams directly shot into the building ahead, using a huge stone pillar made of special materials that could not resist for even a second, resulting in 2 more penetrating holes. Fortunately, the previous blue beam was not too thick, and the pillars can still support the buildings above at this moment. Xiao Qianyu also breathed a sigh of relief, although even if he destroyed this place, no one would say anything. But he doesn't want to make mistakes in front of Yunyun. He hasn't made any mistakes before and doesn't want to make more mistakes in the future. I've seen it all, junior brother, Nalan Yanran said, dressed in a moon-white robe and moving her lotus steps slightly. Twisting her slender willow waist, below her waist lies the coveted straight thighs. Her bare hands are fair and slender, and her exquisite face is adorned with a faint smile. Her body is light and her steps are a bit light. Ah, please spare me, my most beautiful senior sister. As you can see, I was really caused unconsciously just now. Xiao Qianyu pursed his lips. You're joking, you're taking it seriously, but congratulations to junior brother for breaking through to Douqi, Nalan Yanran said playfully. Junior brother has broken through to Douqi, and she's also very proud of herself, okay. Usually, This cold and aloof goddess is on a shelf all over her body at this time, which is rarely seen outside. Xiao Qianyu also likes this cheap senior sister very much, of course, it's just a liking, not a love. As for what Nalan Yanran looks like, I don't understand. Thank you for your praise, senior sister. It's not worth mentioning such a small matter. Normally, I could have broken through half a month ago, Xiao Qianyu said confidently. Confidence is a good thing, but don't be like this when you're outside. As a junior fellow, I'm good at everything, but I have a flaw. I'm very arrogant and boundless. After 1 or 2 months of contact, Nalan Yanran also has a good understanding of him. Then let's listen to senior sister's advice. By the way, let's go visit Master together. I also want to share this good news with Master. Xiao Qianyu didn't take it seriously. Nalan Yanran nodded without much thought. The two closest people to her in Yunlan sect were the younger martial brother in front of her and her own master. The two walked side by side. The young man was incredibly handsome, and the young girl was also a perfect beauty. The surroundings are beautiful and peaceful, forming a beautiful painting. Upon arriving at the door of the master's room, Nalan Yanran knocked on the door and said, "Master, my junior brother and I have come to visit you." "Come in," a pleasant voice came from inside the room. After hearing this, the two of them walked in directly and looked inside at Yunyun as if she was packing up something. Before Xiao Qianyu could speak, Nalan Yanran, who was standing by, said first, "Master, junior brother is really amazing. He has now become a doling." Becoming a doling. Alright. Alright. Yunyun was naturally very happy to hear that Xiao Qianyu had become a doling. "By the way, since you became a teacher of Yunlan sect, I haven't given you any gifts yet. This time, I'll give you an inner armor that focuses on defense." Yunyun took out a blue inner armor from the Na ring, which is called the Sea Heart armor. It is an inner armor made from 6th level warcraft, with a strong defense. Seeing how impressive the things his master brought out were, Xiao Qianyu was also somewhat moved. "Master, it's really nice. Do you want to come and pick one up?" Xiao Qianyu said in a leather tone. "Go to hell, don't make a fuss here." Yunyun was also used to Xiao Qianyu's occasional slaps on his skin. If she hugged him, she would see his starry and moonlit appearance, as well as his broad chest. If she leaned against him, she would definitely be very secure. No, how could she think of such impolite things? Yunyun shook her head, shook off the unrealistic thoughts in her mind, and then glared at Xiao Qianyu again. At this glance, Xiao Qianyu was almost stunned. Yunyun could be considered an unparalleled beauty no matter what. She was already very attractive when there was no expression on her face, let alone how ordinary people can tolerate such expressions now. If it weren't for his strong willpower, he might have the potential to become a master and disciple. Nalan Yanran around also felt a bit envious, not sure if she envied her master for being able to get along with Xiao Qianyu like this or if she envied Xiao Qianyu for being treated like this by her master. "Since you have become a doling, the highest level secret realm of Yunlan sect, the Life and Death Gate, can also be open to you. The Gate of Life and Death is extremely dangerous. If you want to enter, you must let me know. I will also prepare something for you," Yunyun said later. "Master, don't worry, don't you know my strength yet? Since you are so worried, I will definitely notify you when I enter." Xiao Qianyu directly patted her chest as a guarantee. Hearing this, Yunyun also released a dim sum. "There are still a few things I want to tell you." Then Yunyun thought of something.